2 o'clock. It's been a long week. Been doing a lot, Ryan and I. We just got back from heading over to Accuracy Firearms on behalf of Ryan, talking to those guys, and Ryan might have picked up a couple items. I come home and got my We the People glass out today. So we weren't expecting it today, but we ended up getting the ruling from the 5th Appellate District on the request that the governor filed and the Attorney General for them to review the restraining order that Judge Morrison had issued. And simply speaking, the appellate court issued an opinion upholding the restraining order and finding that there was a basis for it to be entered. They at least found for now, and again, it can always change down the road, you guys, but for now, that equal protection, there's a likely chance. They only have to find a likely chance. They don't say for certain, at least in this early stage, that equal protection has been violated in this law. As you guys heard us last night talking about this, you know, when they carved out all of these categories, allegedly based on training, even though it doesn't make any sense that training has anything to do with it. The appellate court in Mount Vernon said no. They said that's not going to work, at least in their eyes. So they issued that opinion today. The opinion they issued, they also issued the mandate, which that means, at least for now, unless the Supreme Court could say otherwise, should they hear this issue at some time in the future, now or later, or if another appellate court might take a look at this and say otherwise, this ruling that they issued today is every local circuit court in the state would rely upon it. Okay? So when you hear people, I got to be very, very important here. When people say this is a statewide restraining order, it is not. It is not a statewide restraining order. It is an order that could be used by other courts statewide to rely upon. You understand the difference? So if somebody living in Rock Island, Illinois, that's not a party to that case in Effingham, it doesn't apply to you automatically. Please don't. There's people out here that shouldn't be talking that are trying to confuse people, and it's unfortunate. But if someone in Rock Island, Illinois goes into their county and chooses themselves or with another lawyer to seek relief, that court will look at this case. Does that make sense? Y'all got it, okay? So as of now, the case will come back into Effingham and we'll proceed. As to the case that's in White County, that the judge in White County had not ruled yet in case number 2, I highly expect that sometime, maybe even today, if not tomorrow, he will issue a ruling following the opinion of the appellate court. That's what I expect. I'm not going to tell you that's exactly what he's going to do, because you never say exactly what a judge is going to do, because they have, you know, their judge. They have to make their decision. And once they make their decision, I look at it. But I would expect that he's going to follow the 5th Appellate Court opinion, because he's in the 5th Appellate District. Okay? So that's what I expect to happen in case 2. And as soon as that happens, I will let you know. As for, as we told you, case 3, last time around, I don't know how long we're going to wait, but people that might be interested in that, you can choose if you want to be a part of it. You don't have to. You go find anybody you want, any lawyer in the state. This conversation's getting pretty broad, but I don't care who you go. Go find Mr. Stocks in Macon County, who's a good lawyer. Go ask him to help you. That's okay. But if you want to be a part of what we're doing, that's fine too. Your choice. I don't know how long we're going to wait. We might file it, you know, we might wait a couple of days. I don't know. Ryan will let you know. But for now, if you choose to participate in that, you're able to participate. Okay? So that's case 3. So case 1, the order's still in effect. The appellate court says it's good. Case 2, I expect that he's going to issue an order very soon that's going to fall in line with that appellate court case. Case 3, we'll work on. Could the Supreme Court choose to look at this issue in the next couple of weeks? Possible. assuming that the governor asks, probably will. That's okay. If they don't ask, then we'll continue to proceed. As for federal issues, I've been talking to the men and women who have filed a couple of these federal cases, and we're trying to work together with them. We're working on a federal pleading right now. We have actually, and you'll get all of you that are a part of our cases will get an email from Ryan very soon about a private group that we're creating called the Guardians of Liberty. Guardians of Liberty, you'll get all the information about them. And you know, who is, I like the name. My partner Jeff came up with this name, Guardians of Liberty, because you guys know me well enough. Who are the Guardians of Liberty? It's you. You're the only ones, not bureaucrats. So I like the name that he picked, and so you're all going to be a part of that, and I look forward to it. But we're working on that, okay? Hope that answers the questions. I'll look and see if there's a couple here, and then I'm going to get back to work. Chad says, can you explain whether I need to use an FFL that was a plaintiff in the case to do the transfer? The answer is no, you don't. But if there's an FFL that's not a party to the case that doesn't want to do the transfer, there's nothing you can do about it. Okay? If someone is a plaintiff in this case and is protected by an order of the court, FFL can do that transfer, in my opinion. But my opinion to FFLs that aren't a part of this case doesn't mean anything. They can choose to say Tom's wrong, and that's their choice. But FFLs in the case makes it a lot simpler. But in my opinion, they don't have to be. But that doesn't mean they're going to agree with me, because you know, they don't have to. Let me see here. What are you going to do? So this is not for this case. They're talking about Lightfoot's vax mandate case. I don't know if Lee is a part of that case, but we got a plan on that case, Lee, and you'll be hearing from us real soon. But yeah, we're on that. I promise you. You know, Mayor Lightfoot's up in an election right now, and we're watching her election real close. But Lee, we're dealing with her vax mandate case, I assure you. Let me see here. Paul Durr being the wise guy. Is this a statewide restraining order? No, 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 it's not. And I know Paul knows the answer to that already. That's why he's laughing. It's not a statewide restraining order. The ruling of the 5th Appellate District will be relied upon by courts statewide. For now, as I've said before, for now, that could change, you know, but it is not a statewide restraining order. Let me see here. Who said that? Josh Myers? You need to go to law school, Josh. You just hit the nail on the head, my friend. I'm going to read what Josh said. The TRO only applies to those listed in the case, but any person could file a case and rely upon the decision, but the current TRO is not statewide. Well done, Josh. Well done. Will there be a list of FFL dealers in these cases that we know we can buy from? Austin, the answer is yes. There's 5 of them in case 1. They've already been known publicly. We put that out a long time ago. If and when, and again, I suspect when being not if, but I don't presume, judge enters an order in case 2, that list of FFLs will be made public too, okay? Michael Sullivan, when does our Attorney General step in and defend our Second Amendment rights? I don't suspect that's going to happen. But Michael, I digress, but I don't see that happening, my friend. Okay. Jason, you've asked this questions a couple of times. If we're in case 3, when would we be able to resume purchasing? When a judge in that case issues an order that says you could. We haven't even filed it yet, Jason, so there's no order in that case. Only when a judge might enter an order that it would apply, okay? So merely because your name might be eventually going to be put on something doesn't mean anything, man. And It has to be a court's order that applies to you. If there are FFLs that are sole proprietors that are in one of my cases, you send me an email directly and I'll answer your questions for you. Okay, let me see here. Tyler missed the beginning. Case 3 going to be soon. Yes, it's going to be soon. Ryan and I still got to talk about some paperwork and administrative stuff, but it's going to be soon. So if people are interested in case 3, again, I want to say it over and over. If you're interested, go out there at the website and do it. But again, you're going to go find it wherever you're at. You can join anywhere in the state if you want to with us. But if there's a lawyer in your area and you like him or her, go see him or her. That's okay too. I encourage you, go do it. Well, you do a case for Cook County residents. Jose asked. Jose, there's probably the biggest group of plaintiffs we have in our cases are already from Cook County. You don't have to file a case in Cook County to apply to Cook County. It doesn't work that way. But I have a lot of Cook County residents already that I represent. Jan Meyer, you need to file in Lake or Cook County. I'll pass. Let me see here. Mark, you always ask good questions. Will this decision affect how you add or take away from case 3? I'm still thinking about that, but I don't have an answer for you right now. I'm still analyzing. I just got home from going with Ryan to the gun store. I haven't even printed it off and read it in I'm old, so I have to read an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Reading it on my phone, I can get most of it, but I really want to parse it apart, Mark. So, Tiffany, I love you too, but I'm glad you're from Lake County, but I don't have any desire to, for now, to file anything in Lake County. All right, let me see. Faith says, this is a stupid question, but are the ARs banned already? I can't answer that question. There's a ruling and there's a law in place that says from the day the governor signed it on January 10th into the future, you can't buy anymore if you're an Illinois resident. I mean, that's the overarching simplification of it. So I would encourage you to go research that. I can't get into all of that with what we're talking about here. Brad, I appreciate it, Brad, because you're right. These fights aren't easy. And they take Ryan probably spends 16, 18 hours a day on his computer answering your guys' questions and sending out information. And I live on this phone communicating with all of you, and I'm happy to do it. But you're right, it's not easy because all of you just ordinary, everyday people trying to come together the way you have to take this fight on. It's flattering that I get to do that. So, but you're right. I haven't done it yet, but ever since the election ended on November 8th, I've lost over 30 pounds. I'm right at 30 pounds trying to get myself back healthy because, this is a tough business. You spend pretty much your whole life. My phone beeps all hours of the night when I go to sleep and I set it down. I get up in the next morning and I've got 100 messages and I'm happy to deal with it, but it can be stressful. So I appreciate you pointing that out. Michael Folsom, case 2 has not been ruled on yet. Not yet, you're right. But the judge in White County probably hasn't even printed off we've already forwarded him the order from the appellate court, but the man's busy, I'm sure. So he'll get to it. Let me see here. I want to make sure I answer you guys' questions before I get back to work, drinking my bourbon. Just a little bit. I won't drink the whole thing. Todd asks a very good question, Todd. It's not a stupid question, Todd. If you're against the law, but you're in one of the exempt categories, can you join the suit? And the answer is, I would prefer that you don't, because you're exempt whether you like the law or not. So, you technically haven't been injured by this law. I mean, maybe your wife has, or maybe your children, or maybe you just don't like the law, but you were carved out. And talking about carving it out, just think about if they hadn't carved out all of these exempt categories, like law enforcement. You don't carve out law enforcement. Let's say they pass this law and law enforcement's not carved out either. So all of the men and women, the good men and women of the Illinois State Police are not exempted out, or all of the county sheriffs and deputies. Who's going to enforce the law, right? Who's going to enforce it against the people? So they had to make them exempt, because they needed somebody to go out there and try to enforce it. So I thought it was funny when we were talking about that. It's not funny, you know what I mean? None of this is funny, but I'm like, I told a friend of mine, of course they had to exempt law enforcement. I'm like, they've already got a problem with county deputies and sheriffs saying they're not enforcing it. They got the state police, and those men and women got to do their job. I respect them, but if you didn't carve them out, I mean, who's going to go enforce it? So think about that sometime. Okay, I think we're about done here. So I'll go through this again. Case 1, the appellate court ruled today, upholding the restraining order on equal protection grounds at a minimum. So the restraining order is still in place. Case comes back to Effingham County for us to continue it. The governor may and could ask the Supreme Court to hear the appeal on a temporary basis. Supreme Court does not have to hear it if they don't want to. They could wait, or they could. Don't know the answer to that yet. The order from the appellate court in Mount Vernon, again, would be relied upon by every county court in the state. It's not a statewide TRO. It's not a statewide TRO. But every court in the circuit court, the county court levels, would rely upon it. It's not binding on any other appellate court, but it has to be followed, at least for now, by the county courts. Until the Supreme Court or another appellate court says otherwise. Okay, so that's very important. Case 2, I expect, but I will never say for certain, that we'll get a ruling very soon from the White County judge, similar in nature to the appellate court opinion. That's what I would expect, but I'm not going to tell you that's what he's going to do. That would be disrespectful. And then we're working on case 3. It'll be filed. We don't have a deadline for you yet, but if you are interested, you can go to case 3 and sign up. Do whatever you want to do. Go find a lawyer in your county. Go find a lawyer in your city. Ask them to represent you. Fully support all my other colleagues helping in this fight. No problem. I would love it, actually. But if you want us to be a part of what we're doing, that's great. A colleague of mine that works with us on this is working on our federal issue. He's going to send me a draft real soon. We have a association that we're starting for all of you to be a part of. It's called the Guardians of Liberty. For those of you that are in these cases, you'll get an email from Ryan real soon about the Guardians of Liberty and what we're going to do. It's good stuff. I'm very excited about it. And we're going to keep moving ahead. I mean, this ruling is favorable for us, but don't think this fight's long from over for all of us. This could drag on long term for 2 or 3 years. I fully expect it. And that's fine. That's what we're in this for. So I'm going to look one last time for questions. Let's see here. Last questions, and then I'll be done. And you guys have any more questions, send Ryan an email. You know he loves them. Let me see here, my friends. What's the latest on Dan Calkins? I mean, we've already had that conversation. I wish Dan the best in his efforts. I've sent a copy of the opinion to Dan's lawyer. I hope they use it to the benefit of them. The people that I've been asked to represent in that wanting out of that case, I'll go defend my clients. That's what I do. I defend my clients. And so, but again, I don't have anything else to say about that. I wish Dan well. So it cracks me up every time you say it. What do I say? It's so funny. Poor Ryan. Oh, yeah, poor Ryan. Send Ryan an email. He loves emails, right? Send him an email about world peace. It has nothing to do with the cases we're filing. I think it's funny when he calls me. Mossick, I'm in case 2. If the ruling is successful, will I be covered in Cook County? And the answer is if you're a plaintiff and their ruling is successful, you're not bound by this law, right? You're not bound to be prohibited from purchasing while that order is in place. That's what that means. Andrew, how long is it extended for? In case 1, it's extended until the judge says otherwise in Effingham, or the Illinois Supreme Court might say otherwise. Until then, that's how long it lasts. Okay. Let me see here. I think that's it. Can we get rid of the FOID cards next? There's some case law out there on the FOID card. I've not read a lot of it lately, but let's deal with this firearms issue first. Let's get it out of the way. And then you want to talk about FOID cards, you guys. We'll talk about FOID cards later, but let's focus on one thing at a time. Remember what I told you yesterday? Start talking about too many things at once, you lose focus. And right now we need to focus. Let me see here. Does this help the law get overturned? I think so. The ruling that they issued here today on the equal protection, especially, I think it's a really good argument in the federal courts on federal equal protection, because federal equal protection and state equal protection are very similar, almost identical. And, I've tried to get one of the other gun groups, one of the good gun groups that's fighting in the federal courts. I've encouraged them to get out in front of us even, right? Again, I don't need to grandstand. I've asked them to get out in front of us in the federal court and try to get us a statewide ban based on equal protection. And I hope they do it because it'll benefit all my clients too. So, we're going to get there with ours, but we're trying to pave the way here with what we're doing. And I hope they do it. If not, we'll go ask for it. Okay. So I'm not going to answer some of these redundant questions about case 2. We've answered that twice already, and they can go back, folks, and read that. So, okay, that's all that I have, and pass it around. And we're going to keep on fighting. I've got, it's 2:30. I got another good 6-8 hours to sit here and keep working for you guys. So we'll keep it up. As you guys always know, I love you. Have a good day and see you later.